Donald Trump is panicking as Iran has rejected his ceasefire offer. Donald Trump apparently only prepared for a 4 to 5 day war against Iran, and he assumed that if the United States were to kill the Ayatollah Khomeini, that Iran would immediately want a ceasefire and that Donald Trump would be able to declare a victory and that war would not spread throughout the region. Donald Trump was warned that his personal views that that's what would take place were wrong, and he was indeed wrong. Hat tip to Ynet. They were the first to report, and they're based out of Israel, that Donald Trump is now begging Iran for a ceasefire, and Iran immediately rejected it and said when there will not be a ceasefire, will be on our terms. And now one of the major issues the United States is facing is, will we be running out of munitions? Do we have the capabilities for a long-term war if this drags out for many, many months? And in addition, we've learned some horrific news this morning that a number of our soldiers, a number of U.S. service members have indeed been killed in action during the war already. We've learned that there have been, so far, 3 U.S. service members killed in action. 5 have been seriously wounded so far during Operation Epic Fury, is what the Trump regime is calling it. We're referring to it at the Midas Touch Network as Operation Epstein Fury, or the Jeffrey Epstein War. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, announced the deaths of these 3 U.S. service members. 5 are seriously wounded. We're following that. We're expecting, sadly, the number of deaths to increase. These casualties, as Open Source Intelligence Defender also notes, these casualties are likely the result of Iranian ballistic missiles and one-way attack drones that have been striking U.S. bases in Bahrain, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, with some bases suffering much more serious damage than had been previously reported or announced by CENTCOM. Indeed, our government is giving false information saying that the attacks have not been serious against our bases, only for us to learn later that they are indeed very, very serious. And now our service members have been killed, and Donald Trump has blood on his hands, and this whole regime in the United States has blood on their hands. Iranian's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, he is alive, and he's stating this morning on state-run television that the Interim Leadership Council is now operational and has assumed constitutional control of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Pezeshkian adds that we will continue the path of the leader with strength. Our armed forces are crushing the bases of enemies. No sign by Iran that they will be stopping their retaliatory actions against U.S. bases and U.S. interests within the Middle East anytime soon.
A new front has just opened in this war with Iran. Hezbollah firing rockets on northern Israel, and Israel responding with airstrikes in Lebanon, including in the Lebanese capital of Beirut, specifically the southern suburbs known as the Dahya, which is a Hezbollah stronghold. Hezbollah saying that it is firing because Israel's aggression cannot go unchecked, calling this a warning response. But it seems unlikely that Israel's going to take this as anything like a warning response. In fact, Israeli officials have indicated for some time now that they've been contemplating a major new offensive against Hezbollah in order to destroy the group and ensure that it is disarmed. And what Hezbollah has just done now by firing these rockets is it's given Israel the pretext and the opportunity to be able to go and carry out these major airstrikes that we're currently seeing in Lebanon, and that have the potential to become a major new front in this war. And this means that what is already a regional conflict with the United States and Israel carrying out strikes against Iran retaliating against not only Israel and U.S. military bases in the Gulf, but also against several of those Gulf countries, striking population centers. This means that this regional conflict is now expanding even further, and it also means that we don't know where it's going to end.
Is porn and explicit content hindering your focus, relationships, and goals? You're not.
2 billionaires and their supportive minions have now killed dozens of young girls at a school in Iran and are subjecting over 40,000 U.S. military members to potential attack and attacks, and countless other civilians across Europe and potentially the United States. This, they say, is to remove a nuclear program that they said they already obliterated, and that Netanyahu has said for 30 years is going to be a danger soon. And these billionaires are sitting in very comfortable spaces surrounded by people who will never say no to them, and sending our finest into harm's way and killing Iranian civilians and children without congressional approval, because it's what they want. Both of these individuals have been convicted in the past and are under investigation for other crimes like Epstein, corruption for Netanyahu, potential impeachments, multiple impeachments for Trump. And this was while negotiations were ongoing with Iran. They decided to do this, and even stated that there were positive talks and talks scheduled for next week with Iran, and they decided to do this and use our military. Netanyahu giving orders to Trump to use our military as toys and sacrificial lambs for what billionaires want. What billionaires want. So that's something to remember. That's something to fucking remember. And remember who supports it and has got nothing to say about it. Look at your elected representatives, the people who are supposed to stand for you because you voted for them. Look at them and ask them why. With everything going on in this country, why we're going to spend billions upon billions of dollars to support billionaires' wishes and put our men and women in harm's way. Ask them. With everything going on, we have a president in the center of an international pedophile ring. We have rising prices. We have people calling into shows saying that they've lost 28 pounds because they can't eat, because this government is starving them. We have people without health care. They're choosing food over health care, which should be a natural fucking right. And these billionaires are deciding to attack Iran over something they can't even prove is happening with their ballistic missile and nuclear program bullshit. That's what we're looking at. And you can't just be mad at the two on the top. You got to be mad at the people who are supporting them and not saying anything and are endorsing this. You have to take it out of them. If you give a shit about the military and the men and women who have chosen to potentially sacrifice their lives for what they hope is sane leadership for the benefit of the country, you have to say something. Thanks. Slide your hand on.
So we're now at war with Iran, which is certain to produce global economic shocks. Here's what you can expect. We will likely see these 6 economic outcomes. First, energy prices will spike because 20% of the world's oil travels through the Strait of Hormuz. And with the threats of closure, this means the oil supply will be significantly constrained. Second, due to the turmoil in certain trade routes, we will see a higher cost of trade, shipping, and cost of insuring those loads. So these first two outcomes will lead to inflationary pressures, which will raise the cost of living. So with higher inflation, the third outcome will be Fed rate cuts will be put on hold. The fourth outcome will be increased deficit spending and increased debt for the U.S. The fifth outcome will be slower economic output as investment stalls due to the uncertainty. And the sixth and biggest wild card will be financial market volatility. Because the uncertainty will likely spook equity markets, so the stock market will likely crash, and it could lead to a spike in bond yields. And if that happens, we could see a liquidity crisis. In my 2 cents, is this war with Iran could be the catalyst that brings the entire U.S. economy down.
Hi everyone, my name is Shekinah Lee. I am 26 years old. I'm from Chicago. I'm currently in Dubai. I'm in a parking shelter. We've received so many emergency alerts. We've seen the missiles with our own 2 eyes. We've heard the explosions. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know that for people who are staying on the Palm Jumeirah like me, we are currently taking shelter. So I just wanted to give you all this update for people back home that may not know what's going on. Trump, thanks again for nothing. You get out of America and you still are affected by his foolery. It's like overwhelming at this point. However, we're safe right now. It's hot. I mean, it's hot. And yeah, so thanks for watching.
All right, so currently in the lobby of my hotel. Y'all probably did hear the emergency message going off. A bomb just hit. I'm not too far away. Kind of felt like an earthquake, very loud noise. Everybody phones going off. Ain't gonna lie, it's kind of crazy, y'all. The lady across the hall from us said she's Lebanese and this is nothing. She's experienced it before, so it kind of made us feel better, but I ain't gonna lie, growing up in the States, we ain't really deal with stuff like this, so just trying to keep calm through it all, remain prayed up. Yeah, everybody is making their way down to the lobby. It's starting to fill up. You can like literally smell the debris. You can smell it. Got babies here. So hopefully they got an underground bunker or something in this hotel. This shit crazy though, so I don't know when we gonna get back to the States, but I am confident that we will. Not panicking. Keep faith in God. I know that we're protected by Him. But it's definitely an eye-opening situation. So, yeah.
I want to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim.
Trump is a low-life fucking piece of shit. He don't give a shit about you. He don't give a shit about me. He don't give a shit about anybody in this fucking country. He's all fucking full of shit. To save face, he is going to fucking spill blood. He's got 50,000 troops, warplanes, warships, ready to pounce on fucking Iran. He is going to spill blood to get us to forget about the GDP, the fucking unemployment fucking numbers, the inflation, and what went down on these fucking tariffs. Who knows how much fucking money that's gonna cost the taxpayers from his fucking blunder. And now he's willing to spill fucking blood. Iranian blood, and I'm scared shit that it'll be American blood. There's 50,000 troops there. You stupid fucks who gave him this fucking power. You stupid bastards. What you did will never fucking be forgiven. You stupid fucks.
Is there a war with Iran right now, and it's pretty contained for the moment, emphasis on the moment, but that's probably going to change tonight as U.S. air assets get involved over the Iranian battle space. I just want to make a video for you to send to anyone, who's a veteran or currently in the military who's really banging the war drums. The United States is the greatest threat to world peace, global stability, and is the most lawless nation on earth. I'm fourth generation Army. I grew up in the whole arsenal of democracy propaganda. I was in a special operations unit during Obama's Afghanistan surge while we were propping up pedophilic narco warlords in Kandahar and Helmand as part of a nation-building exercise. What that means is the government takes all your tax money and gives it to private contractors to prop up a government that nobody wants. If you are in the military right now, just know that you are not serving your country. You are not fighting for freedom or democracy. You are fighting for about 1,000 odd child trafficking, parasitically wealthy billionaires who do not believe in countries or nation states in the same way that you do. They believe they are above that peasant stuff. You think little Marco Rubio is in charge? You think dumbass Pete Hegseth is actually in charge of the Department of War? The person who's running the Department of War is the private equity billionaire deputy director Steve Feinberg, who has never served in the military, but who was the head of DynCorp International, a private military contractor until 2020. You are fighting to make rich men who view you with utter contempt even richer. It's 2026, y'all. It's time to grow up. Every imperial war we fight is a war on the global working class, of which you are a part. These billionaire MFers don't believe in international boundaries when having class consciousness, so why do you? What's happening right now will further immiserate your material conditions, and you have more in common with your average Iranian than you ever will with the pedos you're fighting for. Again, you are not fighting for America or democracy. You're fighting for inhumanly rich child cannibals, essentially, who think you are cattle.
Giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem.
So it was just a normal day like today. It's a cloudy day outside, kind of cold. So you stay indoors and we do what we normally did until the power went out. Power went out, and a little while later we heard these planes fly over our house. There's an airstrip nearby. I didn't really think anything of it until it happened again, and another wave of planes came. And then another wave of planes came. So in a matter of an hour, we seen 3 waves of planes go across the sky. East to west. They were different colors: blue, yellow, gray, white, red, black. They were just all kinds of sizes, shape, color, everything. They even had older planes. And off in the distance, we could hear the booms. And when we saw the pillars of smoke. And we knew. Because there's a city that way. And there was a city that way. And in both directions we looked, it was all smoke. The sky was turning black because of it. Me and my girls were running down a street. That's what it flashes to. I'm not even at my house. I'm running down the street. We're trying to get to a building to take cover because we hear the bombs going off. We get inside this government building or something that had a basement in it. And we were going for the stairwell to go downstairs. And we find this old, lazy, gray tomcat laying on the steps. And we got distracted by it for some reason. It stopped us. We stopped running. And it was in that moment that I realized that my girls hadn't had their bobs. They didn't have their bug-out bag on their backs. And I was like, "Where's your bag?" And they're like, "We left them." I was like, "You're supposed to grab them and run." I said, "It's too late now. So we stayed right there. My second daughter, she picked up the cat, and the cat started hissing at her, so she tossed it. After the booms stopped, we went back outside and we headed back to the house to go get our bobs because we needed them. As we were running down the street, we see the destruction and the chaos around us. Houses burned, cars burned up, people crying, people screaming, people with blood all over their hands, their faces, their clothes. And my girls start crying because they see it for the first time. And I had to keep them together. And I said, don't worry about it, girls, keep going. We gotta get to the house. So we run all the way back to the house. We get here. And we see this woman standing on the street, holding her kid. And he was lifeless in her arms. And she was just standing there crying. We get back to the house. And I tell them to grab whatever they can and throw it in their bag. I started grabbing food out of the cabinets, anything I could find, just filling a box with food. I tried dialing on my phone to call someone. I was trying to call my husband and I couldn't get out. I could not dial out. So my girls go ahead and grab their stuff and go to the car. And I go back inside to get one more box worth of food. And I get back out to the car and my baby is sitting there in shock. She's not crying, she's not smiling, she's not doing nothing. She's just sitting there in shock. Unresponsive. My 11-year-old was crying hysterically. She was so scared she wet herself. My 15-year-old has autism, so she was like just melting down. Out of her mind. And then my phone rings. And it's my daddy. And he said, they're here. And he said, is there any way you can get home? Can you try to get to me? And I said, I can try. I said, but I gotta get my husband first. I had to steal a car because we only have one. Driving down the road. And the missiles, they damaged the road, so it made traveling hard. Getting from one place to another was not going to be easy. There was a woman standing on the side of the road and she kept waving. And I just drove past her. And she was screaming after me, like running, saying, stop, stop, stop. And I was like, I can't. I had 3 girls in the car. I couldn't take no chances. So I kept going. And then I seen why she was yelling, stop. Because the road, part of it had broke off and the rest of it was getting ready to cave off. So I went around. I just floored it. I was looking at the speedometer and it read 125. And I woke up speeding across this broken pavement as it collapsed underneath me. And we got across. That's how I woke up. There's something coming. And I don't think we're ready for it.